So we shall call to order our regular meeting of the Economic Development Commission. This is Joe Camion here, Jeff Hartman, Gene Wolzinski, Mona Caldwell, and Cheryl Toimer. We have two excused absences. Wendy Russell and Scott Smith are excused for reasons that they could not make it. So welcome. Do we have any members of the public online? Hearing none, we shall proceed with our discussion. So for public comment, I hear none, and unless somebody comes on the line, we shall reserve that for if it wakes up. Has everyone reviewed the June 4th meeting minutes?
Yes.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve June 4th meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Cheryl, second. Any discussion? We shall vote to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimously approved. Okay, going through our agenda, the Midsummer Festival is Saturday, July 26th. And we need to make sure we support the EDC tent erection and staffing. I'm willing to help erect the tent on Friday, and I can attend Saturday morning for me, but I can't do Saturday afternoon.
So what are the shifts? I'll volunteer so we have coverage, so I can relieve you.
Yeah, you can relieve me. I'm willing to go in the morning. I don't know how many people are able to do it.
This is a unique year for me.
Okay.
Normally I've been able to.
Yes, that's all right.
And
Yeah, last year I was out of town, so that.
We're out of town this weekend. You're out of town
Yeah.
this weekend.
Right,
What are the hours?
yes.
So we've definitely we start at 9 and we go till 3. And we've usually done 2.5 or 3 hour, 2.5 hour shifts and overlapping each other.
Two people.
So,
Yeah.
well, we tried to do 2 people, not always, but we always had the benefit of you were there all day.
I'll come 11 to 3.
Okay, I'll do 9 to 12. So
All right.
plug myself in for that. So that's July 26th, Saturday.
11
I
to
can
3.
probably be there for part of the
Okay.
afternoon. Oh,
I did an exploding pen.
So
Joe, you said 9 to 12.
9
you'll
to
do?
12 on Saturday. And then to erect the tent, I think I don't know what works, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. on Friday before.
So you'll have to ask work that out with whoever you're gonna put it up with.
Okay. I'll ask,
So-
Scott volunteered to be signed up for whatever.
Oh, yeah, he'll probably take a
So-
shift as well.
Yeah, so I'll,
I know he helped us tear down last year.
Right, yeah, and it's quick work taking it down. A few prep items. I will need to get to everyone the tent. I have my own table, folding table and tablecloth. If you want that, I have some lawn signs that go along with the tent.
okay.
We also will ask businesses to drop off any brochures or business cards or menus here. We usually have a box under that table in the foyer here. And Joe, I can talk to you over the next couple of days about putting out an email from the EDC email
Okay, yes.
address,
Yep.
asking businesses, and then we could promote that on Facebook or something as well.
And then the last 2 years, we've also had a couple of hydrangea
Yes.
from Hydrangea
There's galore.
Galore, which really do draw attention.
Yeah, it looked beautiful. He will have, I think he's gonna have his own booth. I'm not sure if he's having his own booth or doing something with someone else. So,
So should we ask if he'll help supplement our booth with hydrangea?
sure.
Yeah,
Who can contact him?
You have a good relationship with him, right?
Yeah, but I don't have his email address anywhere because I don't have the EDC
Oh,
email. If I draft an email for you, will
Sure.
you send it from
I'll
that?
Send it for him, yeah.
And I want to make sure he puts some little business cards or something in those hydrangeas because I
Yes.
really want him to get credit.
And
For the
that,
display. That was really nice last
that
year.
is a really great point because we had so many people who wanted to know where they could get them. And to be able to hand a card would be super.
Okay, so,
And he's much more visible this year too with the place on Hills Road.
right.
And it's beautiful. It's more beautiful than he described it would be.
Yeah, I couldn't really envision it from his description, but driving by
Yeah.
it.
No, it looks very nice. I think
Gorgeous.
it's done really strong.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're sort of pretty much there. We'll regroup in advance. Oh, look at this.
That's what I usually do.
I know.
Yeah, you just passed it.
So, I guess we'll ultimately give this to Jen, who will,
No, you should hang on to it so
Okay.
you'll know.
all right, maybe I'll
Yeah.
just hang on to it. Okay. Okay, next item is the strategic plan, which Jeff has put tremendous effort into. Jeff, I trust you have your own copy.
I do, with notes as well.
Wow.
Thank you.
So this is thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the culmination of everything that we started under Cheryl's leadership, and we're trying to finish here from our mission statement, the vision statement, our 7 initiatives, some follow-ups, there's some measurements. So, it's kind of big picture. If we could review this tonight, if we could have a comment period where we could, mark it up, email comments back to Joe and myself, and then maybe, I'm not going to be here in August, so if you had questions, I'll be away on holiday, but we could vote upon it in September with changes and adjustments. So there's a nice comment period, a review period. But basically, it takes Cheryl's Excel document, which was the byproduct of SWOT analysis that we spent a number of months on. So if you don't mind, I'll go through. So it's handwritten draft, so it's in draft form. So it starts with our mission, our 3 statements, and I won't read it all, but we have the mission, and then our vision. There are 4 points that we worked on under Cheryl's leadership on the vision: helping our business owners thrive, the light industrial district, the housing market, diverse and strong. It talks about an economic base. That's kind of the overarching document. Second page talks about committee members that participated, as of what it is today in July. And then after that, we build a chart that shows for each initiative who's the lead on it, who's the supporting. So Simona, last month on the initiative 4, I believe that you signed up to say, okay, I'll take the lead. I'll be the lead commissioner for the planning, zoning, land use liaison.
Mhm.
So we would go through and assign, or pick what we want to do and who wants to back up. And, maybe Wendy will, since she's not here, we'll give her the marketing. No. But just go through this process. And then you'll see when we go through each initiatives, there's milestones and starting points and things like that. So maybe at the end, we can come back and say who has some interest in each of the initiatives and who wants to support the lead commissioner. So the first one is, promotion and marketing. The goal is to support the Times economic strength, promote online as a great place to live, visit, and work. We had that second column in the Excel, task and actions that we were going to do. And this basically took the Excel schedule and kind of laid it out in this format. So I don't know if we want to read everyone. How do you want to review these? I'm open to, we have a lot on the agenda. So it lays out everything on the Excel. It's just in a different format.
I would just say I myself would probably push out some of these dates that I originally came up with because
Yeah.
we're just
So it's all the marketing, pursue marketing ideas to attract visitors, but it's important, we talk about event outreach, Make Music Day, Midsummer Festival. It's just kind of memorializing stuff that we were already doing. And, talks about a new business welcome page, maybe some enhancements to the EDC Town website to welcome new business. We want to support tourism. We want to have a buy local campaign, create a promotional calendar around key holidays for buy local, and then maybe develop a business directory and, a marketing document for our online businesses. Some website analytics. I don't know who will do that. We have to figure that out. And maybe a visitor survey program. So under task one, there's different things that we had on the last document that's on a different format. The second initiative was the wayfinding strategy to improve the visitor experience. The next page of tasks and actions. What was the municipal best practices research? Who are the stakeholders, and create a subcommittee to kind of build consensus around this, because I imagine, there'll be a lot of people that want to weigh in on the wayfinding strategy in town. I think first we have to kind of scope the signs that we want to cover in the area. So it's just not, so scope it. How much is this going to cost for design and production costs? What's the timing of all this? So I think the wayfinding goes into a number of months. Are there grants available to fund for signage programs? If we can't find grants, we have to put them in the budget. And if we find the funding, then we have to design an implementation plan. Some of the other issues are community input sessions. I'm sure people want to weigh in on the design of the signs and things like that. So that's, you can read the rest of it. The third initiative was under business locations, support property owners and attracting businesses that will thrive in location, create online materials and resources to help businesses choose the right location in online. So the first thing I think we talked about, what is an up-to-date commercial space inventory? Where are spaces available online? What clarify the process and documentation? We had a number of people. We had the hydrangea business that came in, and he found process maybe wasn't as transparent as he hoped. So how do we improve that permitting process? Should we build a doing business guide online? We talked about, from our commercial real estate analysis, where are the vacancies? What businesses do we want to target? They're, on an outreach, they'll align with what we have here in town. And should we make this business guide online interactive? Could we have a new business mentorship program? That's under initiative 3. Initiative 4 was the ensure economic development perspectives, considering the land use decision-making, assigning EDC commissioner as our zoning liaison to track commercial activity going forward before the land use commissioners, and organize EDC's participation of upcoming regulation review process. So establish that liaison role with the commissioner. One of the things that we talked about is tracking commercial development activities, what's coming into town, so we have an understanding from our EDC perspective. Should we participate in the regulation review process that's coming up or it's ongoing? Working on building intercommission relationships. And then from actions, appoint a zoning liaison, which Mona, I think that you signed up for that. Schedule regular land use coordination meetings with the planning and zoning, and you can read the last one. Build a process review, build an environment that encourages and supports businesses and property owners in online. Those are the 2 tasks. We had some actions. We had 4 actions: conduct comprehensive regulatory review regulatory analysis, create business development process guide, establish a business concierge program, and implement process improvement regulations, potentially with the land use department.
Mhm.
They're open.
Thanks.
Yes.
The next one was the Falls Road after the thing. So create an actionable plan to encourage responsive economic investment in Halls Room area, following any updated district regulations by zoning. Create future-oriented online materials that current or future property owners can assist or can utilize in investment decisions. You know, I think we had on the develop a Halls Road investment strategy, create a Halls Road business directory, marketing materials, facilitate property owner roundtables. We want to do that. And is there grant funding like we did for sidewalks? So that's Halls Road. And the last one is Shoreline Gateway revitalization, 2 tasks, again, similar to zoning. Should we put an EDC liaison on Shoreline Gateway?
Do we already have Joe's already that?
Yeah, so we'll just fill that, yeah.
So they're done.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're done on that, but there's other things.
There's other
Yeah.
tasks are still there.
Yeah, so the blight remediation strategy, the redevelopment plan, you know, pursue funding, market to gateway investment opportunities. And then I tried to, after that, what's the timeline? You know, what, on a quarterly basis, what should we be working on? If we adopt this plan, how do we kind of manage the tasks in this year? So I think we pulled it together by quarter based on the timeline, which could change based on the edits.
Mhm.
And then now you can see just kind of repeats itself. And then the last 2 pages have plan review and update schedule. So like take a look at this annually each January. You know, what are our quarterly reviews? What are our milestones achieved and adjust the timeline as needed? How do we last and how staff, how do we measure success?
Mhm.
So probably taking more than my allotted time, but
No,
That's
this is
okay.
great.
No, this is great. It's gelling into, so what I'm gonna suggest is that maybe we allow some time for all of us to read, drill into it, they make comments, and maybe excuse me. And maybe we you know, our next we've sorry. We've agreed that we'll consider this, you know, completed on September 3rd at our meeting in September, where we can vote on confirming it. So maybe mid-August, we give as a deadline for getting comments
does
together.
that work for everyone?
So I don't know if August 15th makes sense, which is a Friday, or pick a day. Anybody, how about August 15th, going once?
It's good.
Sounds good. So all comments will be submitted to the co-chairs by August 15th. We will get this into final form and bring it to the September 3rd meeting and we'll send an advance copy before that. We'll send it advanced. So maybe if let's say we get it by August 15th, we can have an advance copy by, I'll just pick Wednesday, August 27th. How's that? So.
It's really great, Jeff.
Yeah, this really is not very professional. Not your first rodeo.
But you know what? Mona was the one that said we should do it ourselves. Like, so, you know, kind of the hometown versus the consultant. So I think hopefully, you know, everyone feels good about it. It's
Well,
taken a lot of time.
You know, the key is going to be that we all need to buy in, and each of us has to, you know, abide by what we buy into. And I mean, that's kind of like managerially for me in running my engineering practice. Nothing succeeds unless the people that are going to do the work buy in.
So you know what, I'm going to ask for a few more. Is there any from the folks here, are there any of these initiatives that people would like to work on? So Joe, you're on.
Yeah, Shoreline Gateway, I'm already the rep for that.
Right.
How do you want us to walk through it? The detail pages, like starting on page 3 or something?
Yeah, the chart, we have any feel from people, what they want.
On
to
the
look at.
initiatives?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know we want Wendy on initiative 1. I'd like to work on initiative 1 as well. And they already have some of those website analytics. I mean, that's not a hard lift.
I'll sign up for the wayfinding.
Okay,
Okay. So we have, Cheryl is the lead commissioner for promotion and marketing for initiative 1. Okay. Jeff for initiative 2. I just observed something as we're going through this. Caught my interest. I wrote it down. Where the heck did I write it down? Okay. So, initiative 3, the new business mentorship program, part of that. I'll talk about going forward about the Eastern Connecticut Workforce Investment Board, which is who I'm trying to hook up the high school with. So I'm willing to be the second on initiative 3.
All right.
I'm also gonna mention, it states in here SCORE, which is a great organization. We also have, I'm trying to think of their
Oh, God.
committee name.
Yes.
They meet here on Fridays. They're retired professionals.
Yeah,
in
we
Old
do have a
Lyme.
group in Old Lyme.
Yeah, and they assist businesses and organizations as
I'm
well.
drawing a blank on their name.
MMM or something.
Yeah.
Gene, anything strike your fancy that you want to sign up to?
No, not really. None of these are in my areas of expertise at all.
Well, the development process, isn't that kind of like, as it go, what is Emily? You ever hear that term? Developers,
I have no
New
idea.
York developers talk about Emily.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ever heard that?
Nope.
Emily, early money is like yeast. It's like you want to make something happen, bring money. So finance, so the
That's
development
not
process.
what I do.
I'm finished. Thank you.
All right, so we basically for right now, we have, for initiative 1, Cheryl is lead commissioner. No second unless somebody wants to pipe
Well,
up.
Wendy's probably
Okay, so
doing that
we'll
too.
say, we'll put in Wendy with a question mark. Okay, as a potential. The wayfinding, Jeff will be the lead commissioner. And we have anybody that wants to be a supporting commissioner?
That's going to be a multi-commission
Mhm.
committee of some sort. So
Yeah.
I don't know that we need more than one EDC member on that. It's
Right.
probably going to be EDC with,
And bear in mind, we have to recruit 2 new members.
right,
That's the
exactly.
other thing. that we
Which
have
is
to-
another reason this is a great
This is-
document
yes,
because
you can only do
you
so
can say,
much.
this is what we do. You know, when people want to understand what the EDC is about, we can now say to them, these are the action, you know, the initiatives that we're taking on, and it will excite some people.
All right, so initiative 3, I'm coming on as a supporting commissioner. I don't know if anybody has a,
I have in my things I want to get done myself, that business guide, I would like to get the first draft of that done under initiative 3. So there are things under initiative 3 that I'm happy to.
so you basically, you'll come in as supporting.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll put Cheryl in as supporting. Initiative 4, land use liaison,
That's Mona.
that's Mona as lead. Okay, does anybody gonna support Mona? No, so we're gonna leave that one open. Initiative 5, development process improvement.
Why don't we leave?
We should leave a couple for Wendy and Scott.
And
Yeah.
not only that, but the development, it all talks about working with land use. So it's sort of like similar in a way.
That's after the zoning redoes all of their zoning stuff, right?
And it's also working with, the plan of conservation and development. You know, I've worked on that, you know, I'll take a little bit of.
Wait, which, that's initiative 5, right?
So supporting Jeff or?
I'll support as well.
All right, so Jeff and Cheryl as support. And Initiative 6, Walls Road, Commercial District.
I would leave that open for a new
Yes.
we have 2 members coming
I
in.
think okay. And then Shoreline Gateway, I'm leading that. If anybody has a burning desire to contribute to process, step
Have
up.
we had any applications?
I don't think there's any applications in right now. People were waiting to see where things fell in the spring with Halls Road. And, I think using this guide can help
Recruit?
Yeah.
recruits.
Okay,
Also, early in this whole process, Scott and I discussed metrics and some metrics that he could,
assist
pull
with.
together for us and present to us. So as Jeff, we get to metrics, I think Scott
Mhm.
could play a role in that. He's been looking into that over the last year. What's out
Okay.
there for us.
Okay, so I think we've taken this as far as we can for this point in
Really good
time.
job.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, I compliment your, well, Cheryl and Jeff, because Cheryl was the root initiator of this and did hopefully her usual Herculean amount of work to make it go. Okay, grant funding status, new and pending. I am trying to reawaken the Connecticut Riverway Trail, which was something that I did many years ago. And it died for inability to find any kind of funding. And this is the Greenway Blueway from the old Baldwin Bridge abutment running all the way down to the Smith Neck boat launch, the Great Island State Boat Launch. And actually, because of the Amtrak project right now, there's a big opportunity there, maybe to get some funding from Amtrak. It's along the lines, have you gone to the Niantic Boardwalk? Amtrak paid for most of that. There's billions at play on this bridge project, so we'll see what happens with that. But I actually have an engineer colleague who is also retired in town that I'm leaning on heavily to become a champion to work with this project. So, and that would be heavily involved with trying to figure out how do we get funding to make it happen.
Are you working yet with Harbor Management?
No, it's also on there.
Yeah, you got to start with them.
Yeah. So that's one channel. Has anybody got any new or any ideas on how to access funding that would benefit our initiatives? And
All right, I'll start. I've been.
Yep. Yeah, so I think it's just something we need to always think about because we're a volunteer commission. We have limited resources. And if we can get access to funding that supports the initiatives we're trying to do, at least we can start making some headway. Okay, real estate, we don't have a real estate representative on the commission.
Did I forward to everyone an email from Terry Lewis that had the stats?
It had some stats.
Yeah, yeah. I think until we have someone on the commission who wants to take care of that, we can rely on that sort of thing.
So that one kind of that's as far as we can go in terms of being informed. Businesses, any knowledge of any new businesses coming to town? Anybody interested in the town? I did get, from having gone to the Yale Innovation Summit, and I appealed to pharmaceutical research type companies, like, hey, set up shop here. We're a wonderful place to live, and the right environment and the right population of talent to support that type of work. And I only follow-up I had was from a law firm probably trying to offer their services. Oh, well, I tried.
At the last zoning meeting, there was an applicant who is a doctor trying to open up an office over next to All Pro in the commercial building.
Pediatrician, I think.
Floor.
It was pediatrician, right?
And I guess nobody has used that space yet for the last 3 years since they
It's been longer than that. No, God, no.
Well, I
It's
guess
been,
their elevator was put in 3 years.
that was cute. Yeah, because when we looked at it in 2018, that no elevator was a big no.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yep.
So 3 years ago, they put it in elevator, but they still didn't have anybody on that second floor and it cruised through zoning. So
Oh, good.
Good, good.
Well.
So that's a positive. Anything else on business?
Well, I would add, thank you for celebrating the Carousel's
Oh, yes.
100th anniversary. Thank you
That
for
was
going to
wonderful.
that.
It was wonderful.
So congratulations to them. And then also two businesses closing due to retirement. Patricia Spratt for the home on Line Street. I don't know that we've talked about that yet, but she's having her final kind of warehouse sale during the White Elephant sale this coming weekend. And also Old Line Landscape on Route 156. They are retiring, and that property will not be seeking out a commercial use after it's closed.
gonna be residential.
Not commercial, that's what I know.
There is, I saw on Route 156, that dilapidated building that was for sale. Somebody's doing something there, but I don't know what.
That's the old Italian American club,
It was,
and that will be a
yeah, it was
residence.
purchased
Yeah.
by an owner that will make it into a residence, and I'm just happy it's getting fixed up.
Mm.
So. Okay. All right, marketing and outreach efforts.
Okay, in June and July, our Explore Old Lyme website gets a lot of traffic because of
Mhm.
Make Music Old Lyme and Midsummer Festival. So that's nice because people do bounce around in the website. I can tell. You need a shade pulled as well. So it's one thing. I want to bring up social media because that's in the plan, and I just want to say that as we're going ahead with that, that can be under the Town of Old Lyme website. I mean, Facebook page. I know that you were concerned about that. That doesn't have to be an independent effort. And then the brochure.
It's just that I just don't like us to take on more than we can continue with. And
Right.
it's one of those things where it's,
Yeah, it's a good, because there's always a maintenance challenge involved, and that's, you can't
Mhm.
initiate without being able to maintain or sustain, maybe the word.
Okay, it's time, Explore Old Lyme, thank you, has been updated. The way can you pass that down? The way you know you have the most recent copy is that if you open up
Yep.
this page and look at the bottom, 05/10/25, that's May 10th, 2025. So that's how you know you have the current edition, because the design hasn't changed much.
right here, Jean.
Yeah, the bottom.
On the other, right there. I want to thank Jean for seeking out the CCM printing information for us. We had a really good price on these, and I don't have it off the top of my head.
No, it was a great price.
It was an amazing price. So we got plenty. I think we'll have some for the Big E Connecticut building,
Mhm.
which is a big deal every year we're asked to have these for that, and we don't have the stock
And
for it.
we found out about that printing option when we did that commission meeting.
Right.
The spring commission.
Yeah, spring
meeting.
into action or something like
Yeah,
that.
they handed out little cards and flyers for it, and we're like, oh, we should
Yeah.
look into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a perfectionist, there's a little bit of off with the folding and stuff, but I think we got more than what we paid for. So I'm really happy with this.
This looks beautiful.
And I put some back out on the table out there and at the front desk, and you'll have it for Midsummer Festival.
Mhm.
So that's moving forward, and I think that's it for marketing and outreach. We'd already talked about Midsummer Festival, so that's good.
Okay. Just looking. Shoreline Gateway Committee, an RFP was out for the second time, and it appears that nobody has bid again for a municipal planning consultant.
So what in the RFP, what were you looking for?
looking at, if you will, planning, architectural firms that do planning. And I think it has to be redirected clearly because we're not getting anybody's attention.
Okay. I'm all right.
Maybe it's from that one.
I'm okay. Oh, thank you. And what's your budget?
$10,000 to.
Yeah, that's why you're not getting any attention.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
People are busy these days.
No, people are busy and that's what's
Yes.
happened. And now the question is, I will be attending the next meeting of the Shoreline Gateway Committee. And I'm going to suggest that we probably have to expand the scope to make it more worthwhile. I don't know what else to do with it.
Maybe you could go to a master's real estate program at a university and maybe they have a capstone class and.
Yeah, that's
you could do
happened in the
that.
past. That was used years ago at Soundview. It was the Yale Architectural School.
Mhm,
And it didn't really work according to plan.
mhm.
So, but I agree, it's a good suggestion, Jeff. So it's something that I'll take into consideration. So anyway, that's kind of where things are at. The blight ordinance is moving along. I'm hoping, maybe a little optimistically, maybe not this meeting this month, but maybe next month's meeting, it probably could be voted on by the committee and sent to the select persons to be considered to be part of the new zoning ordinances, to have a blight ordinance in there.
Yeah, just for Jen, so it's the proposed blight ordinance,
Proposed,
yeah.
Right. Which would be submitted to the select persons for consideration. Okay. Chamber of Commerce, well, Cheryl, as always, is a spark plug. And Cheryl and I met with Andrew Surprise, who's the new executive director. And he issued a follow-up, shall we say, an energetic young fellow who was really on the job. So he followed up with a kind of a memorialization of what we discussed, and Cheryl had some tasks and I had some tasks. So, and by the way, he reported that he's going to be looking to Jeff to get onto his Greater Old Saybrook Chamber of Commerce. So be warned.
I'm already a member.
Oh, board.
A board member.
Board.
I'm already a member of there.
Yeah.
Mona and I met him at the Stumble Inn, right, for the ribbon cutting over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice, he's from Windsor, Connecticut.
Yeah, he was from up north, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the guy. I think he's energetic. I think he's gonna do his best to do a good job with it. And
Have you had any interaction with him, Gene?
I
You're
haven't.
active? No?
I haven't,
No.
no. In fact, as Joe knows, the Friday morning event was canceled.
Yeah, I found out the hard way.
Oh, why was it canceled?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just got an email Thursday night and
Oh, okay.
and just FYI, you do need to register for chamber events, because if you're not registered, you don't find out that it was canceled, which an email went out to all registrants, but they didn't really say why.
Wasn't there something last Friday
It was supposed to be last Friday. Yeah, it was canceled.
in the evening though?
No.
No, morning breakfast meeting.
Oh, I thought there was something
Yeah,
in the
because
evening.
I went to the old Lyman and where is it?
I mean, and maybe the inn canceled. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's
The inn was
unclear.
locked up.
Yeah, so it was clear that it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And I didn't see Joe's email till halfway through the day, so.
So it's all right. One of the items that Andrew was looking for things we can collaborate on that would be, of value. And I threw out that, well, we have the common ground of the Connecticut River, and that maybe some kind of a boat event might be a good thing. And I was thinking in terms of the Harvard Yale Regatta on the Thames, which is a big deal. It's been going on for a century and a half or more. And so I reached out to the rowing association in town. My neighbor is a past president. And I said, could we do something like that? Could we get a Old Lyme, Old Saybrook, regatta going? And the big concern is with anything on the river, because we're so close to the sound, that weather becomes a big concern. And so I thought about it and I'm like, well, maybe we can do something with craft that are seaworthy enough to tolerate a little bit of, you're in a protected area, you're not out in the ocean. So anyway, so I'm working on that, and I've gone back and forth with a number of members of the Rowing Association, and right now I'm leaning towards something that's done in Venice, Italy, and I want to knock off the name. In Venice, Italy, they have this free for all called the Voga Longa, where all kinds of personal watercraft go out onto the greater canals and stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, and again, as Cheryl mentioned, the harbor master needs to be a party to this discussion for both sides. But if everybody thinks it's a good idea, I'm going to come back to Andrew with some thoughts on sort of this completely open, maybe not so competitive, but rather just a fun day. And I'm thinking in terms of having viewing stations for this flotilla, the DEEP on our side, and the scenic overview, and for Saybrook, the Saybrook Point Inn to the north. That park is a big area there. So I was thinking we can develop a course and have people in kayaks, paddle boards, canoes, dragon boats, Irish curras. I found a group of people in China doing a dugout canoe between, I don't know what islands. It's probably the Communist Party probably wants to invade Taiwan. but anyway, so if everybody thinks it's a good idea, I'm going to come back to Andrew and suggest that maybe something like this might work, and see if there's interest in the Saybrook side. If there is, then we can figure out how to get this.
You can certainly ask Amtrak to sponsor it, right? With their
Right. Oh, Jeff, good one. Good one. Yeah, it might be a nice icebreaker to get something going.
I think that's the kind of thing that really benefits from a timeline. To
Yes, it
see how
does.
long it would take to put together. And
That's the key.
I mean, for myself, I feel like this is a really full,
We're busy.
yeah. So
Well, no, I think we need a force multiplier. Like if I could get the Rowing Association to buy in, and because I told them ultimately I'd love to see a shell competition like is done on the Thames. Why not? And we punch above our weight. So here's this little town here. We could invite people to come, and I think we would look pretty good. So I think it'd be cool. That could be a competitive thing. But for now, so anyway, if I can get resources to do the heavy lifting, then good, right? So it's a force multiplier. So I'm going to try and do that, but I'm going to bounce it off of Andrew and see if there's an equivalent amount of interest, because these guys, I got them all fired up. They're like dragon boats, whatever. There's actually a type of racing they're not shells, they're skulls, I guess, with two oars, but they're I forget, they call them coastal shells, and they do it as like a race down the beach. You literally start at a starting point. The rowers pick up their craft, run for the beach, launch, go out, and they race a course and come back. And they're clocked from when they depart to when they return or whatever. So anyway, so I just thought it might be some fun, and it's something that could certainly be and also we would do it sort of in the fall, because in the fall the river's still relatively warm, and the traffic also on the river would be reduced greatly. So it also could extend the tourism season, which is one of our big issues. You look at Soundview, for example. As soon as Labor Day comes, it all dries up. So this might be. So anyway, I'm going to see what I can do to get Andrew if he's interested in that. Eastern Regional Tourism District. Anybody have any?
that's
thoughts?
Wendy. So we'll have to
Wait for
till
Wendy
she's
to come back.
Yeah.
Regional Economic Development Committee, the River Cog.
So the Regional Economic Development Committee did not meet in June. However, we had a joint meeting with the Regional Housing Committee, and it was quite interesting. The presentations were from groups in Clinton and Middletown, and very focused on redeveloping schools into housing. So the Clinton
Mhm.
project, they have an elementary school that's been closed for a number of years. The town owns it, which, if you know, most towns own their schools, right? As opposed to here where we have the regional school district. So they own the property. From what they described, it would be similar to if Old Lyme owned Center School and Center School closed. So they are working with a nonprofit and a development group that works with the nonprofit. That nonprofit is Hope.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And I can't remember the name of the for-profit, but they're working together and the town will retain ownership, I think.
It's a long-term lease.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe they don't. They're maintaining, so essentially the historic building is right in there. They don't have a town center, a town green really, and that school has functioned as that. They're retaining the front part of the building and it's going to be a senior center. And the gym will be accessible to the senior center, so it will be retained as a gym of an activity
So
room.
is it senior housing?
It will be, it's not only senior, it's low income slant senior, but it's not required to be. So
Yeah,
it's a little flexible.
Adam did the same thing with one of their schools.
So, but it's pretty interesting because they're also maintaining the library which has, I guess, more windows and
Oh, in the
And-
school library.
school. So and because they're using the classrooms essentially as the apartments, they aren't having to really go in and maybe find out that there's things like asbestos, which you would find in an old building, and even some not so old. I mean, when we redid windows at Mile Creek, that was,
There was lead clogging.
there was all kinds of
Lead
stuff that
clogging.
people didn't expect, right? And makes the project take longer and be more expensive. But so anyway, that project. And then in Middletown is actually a former Catholic school. And so the town is they have to split a property because the school is adjacent to a church, which is still active, but the school's not being used. And it also has a nice historic facade, so they want to maintain that, but it's not going to be necessarily affordable. They're trying to work with the developer to have some affordable housing, but Middletown, unlike most of the towns in the River Cog, they've met their affordable housing, so they don't have that issue of needing more affordable housing. So anyway, it was just sort of interesting, and they're having to work with their zoning and their planning and zoning, which is in both of these towns, it's one commission, planning and zoning commission. So it's a little easier on some fronts, but their issue is working out some details on parking because the parking lot is the church's parking lot, and will there be enough parking for the housing? So working through some of those zoning requirements and getting some variances. It was a really interesting presentation. Obviously, we don't have any school buildings in Old Lyme, so that isn't a factor. But you could envision other properties perhaps being in both cases, the town acquires the property and then either leases or long-term lease various concepts. So it was pretty interesting. Our July meeting is next Tuesday, and I just got the agenda. So it is. So we are going to have an overview of Connecticut State Community College programs and opportunities to partner with businesses seeking employees with specific skills. Pretty interesting. That's been a topic a couple of times on the group. I know a couple months ago, we had a person from the marine industries, marinas and such, where they were having a real challenge with finding qualified people to work on boat engines.
Yeah.
And they actually partnered with the Middlesex, I don't know what they're called now. They're not called it's all one college now,
Right.
Joe. They're not individual community colleges.
The Connecticut State University system or whatever.
Yeah, at Middlesex. So they had a special program there where they've worked and provided some on the job training and such to help maintain their workforce essentially. So anyway, that's our next topic next week.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you. Um, Our next thing is retention of in-town talent, the school to career. And this is right on the heels of what you just discovered there. Jean.
Right. Well, the other thing is when I go to these RiverCog meetings, for those of you who don't, so we're sort of in a weird position because a lot of things we're not with the RiverCog on the
Right.
workforce. There's the eastern
Correct.
region and then there's a central region. So
Yep.
we've had presentations by the central and people are like, oh, this. And I'm like, that doesn't apply to Lyme and Old Lyme. And they're like, no, you're with the
Yes.
group in Norwich.
Are.
Yeah,
Okay.
on that workforce.
So-
Yeah,
so-
so there's a couple of entities like that.
So what I did is, and this goes back to having met with the high school's engineering and technology lab and the instructors, that, they're really challenged to get funded to buy equipment and materials and so on. So this is an offshoot of that Yale Innovation Summit. So the president of the Eastern Connecticut Workforce Investment Board, clearly they go by the acronym, EWIB, whatever. I met with him. I followed up with an email to him and we've corresponded. And of course, I was looking to see if they could assist our program with funding of equipment and such. And I'll read to you what he came back to me with. He said, thanks for saying hello at the Yale Innovation Summit. EWIB's Youth Manufacturing Pipeline Initiative supports high schools to integrate the adult MPI, I guess, Manufacturing Pipeline Initiative, 150-hour introduction to manufacturing curriculum into the academic program of juniors and seniors. The YMPI is typically unable to directly support lab space and equipment. Of course, nothing is easy. But anyway, he's interested to do a presentation to the high school, specifically to talk with the principal. So I'm going to facilitate that communication. The principal's away until next week. So next week, I'm going to see if I can get them together and find out what benefit can come of that. So that kind of is everything I have on the agenda other than new and other business. Anybody have any new or other business?
So I'm going to mention something. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is, it's circulating on social media about 12 sites being sprayed, the water being sprayed for the hydrilla.
Yes, the lakes and stuff,
The
right?
lakes, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of concern over this. Have you guys heard about this?
I saw the title just this afternoon. I haven't read the article yet. I assume it's talking about Connecticut River or somewhere else.
12 sites on the Connecticut River that have been picked up to be sprayed with diquat. And some people feel like it's innocuous, others feel like it's like Agent Orange. So, there's no, and I think the people who think it's highly toxic and are concerned are winning the battle, because I've never seen something pick up such social media so quickly.
Mhm.
Like super fast. Like somebody posted something and within less than 2 days had over 1.2 million views.
Wow.
And he was somebody who's very concerned. So there's a couple of different ways that people are reaching out. The original post was, here are all the people involved. You can send emails, make phone calls, because it's supposed to happen sometime after the 4th of July. And 2 other entities or people, or I think they're individual people, have made those like voter voice type things where you can sign on to a petition. And so it's got a lot of, it's receiving a lot of attention, and it does directly affect us because one of the areas to be sprayed is Hamburg Cove.
Mhm.
And it's that's the closest to us, and they're talking about spraying like 238 acres. So the people who are for spraying it believe that if we don't get rid of this invasive plant, it's going to choke out the water and the wildlife. The ones who are against it are saying, what else is going to die in the process? So I did send, I definitely sent it out to some people. There's a rally tonight in Hartford against it. That I just saw that. And, I've signed the petition myself, and I'm going to send some emails. I think that, there's got to be something more advantageous for our environment than spraying something that is a known carcinogen into all these waterways. So I'll forward you all the information if you're interested in reading
Yes,
about
I'll
it.
look at it.
Like I said, it's,
Yes.
there's two sides, there's two sides to it. So I think for people who are on the water, it definitely says it's going to be toxic for 10 days and they're planning on spraying this starting like after the 4th of July. So are they going to tell people like, get your
Right.
boats, get your bodies, get your pets out of the water?
Right.
It seems
Well, and to Cheryl's point about groundwater, I mean, it's one thing, okay, it's in the water, but where will it end up?
Right.
Right.
and
Yeah.
then somebody who thought I was being a little over the top, a friend thought, Mona, you're being, crazy about this. It breaks down in the soil. It's not going to be toxic. And I just went right over to a report provided by the government that said it stays in the ground. It doesn't break down. So I don't know. I think it's concerning.
I think it would be interesting to know if the Old Line Conservation Commission is taking a stand on this. I think they probably are in alignment with what you're saying. And I'd be happy.
People know because the report came out June 10. And
I'm guessing they would know that. And I'm happy to write to someone I know in Lyme who would be following this. And I'm happy to share with you all what I hear from them because they should be acting on it as well.
I can share with you what I shared with some of my people. And it's got links in it. I can find it. And I'll email it to you all.
So while you're doing that, I'll email Conservation Commission and then the town contact I have for Lyme. And if I hear back from them, I will forward that to you all.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a concern. There's no question. Under the other business heading, I haven't been staying close to it, but has anybody heard what's going on in our industrial park where there's a property owner was intending to build hundreds of apartments there?
What about it?
Is anything happening with it? Does anybody know? I'm just curious because it's like it's been very quiet.
My, well, I may have outdated information, so I want to
Right.
say that. I think they still needed to go back to before planning and zoning
Okay.
because they moved from from the sewer idea to the septic.
Correct. And they bought additional
And
land.
so the town hasn't,
Okay.
last I knew, the town hadn't heard back from them.
Okay. Yeah. So because that's something that is significant in terms of, town economy. If a couple of hundred units get built over there. This is in the industrial park by 4 Mile River, behind where the Kobe Luck. There's an office building that I believe is Kobe Luck's office. It's like a blue tinted building. I believe it's to the south of that is a tract of land that is potentially going to, get developed. That's the only thing I've got for other business. I was just curious if anything was happening with that. Anybody have anything else under new or other business? So take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second, or Mona.
Mona second. All right, thank you I'm sorry, do we have any discussion about adjournment? No discussion, hearing none. Everybody vote to adjourn. Aye,
Aye.
unanimous vote. We are adjourned and we held the meeting down to an hour.
Thank you.
Perfect.
That's my goal, is to try to keep these to an hour.